The warning lights flashed red across the control room. Commander Jake Morrison jumped from his chair and ran to the main screen. His hands moved quickly over the buttons as he tried to understand what was happening. "What do we have?" Jake asked. His team. The monitoring station orbited around Kalos Prime, a giant gas planet. For 20 years, Jake had watched this empty space. Nothing ever happened here. Today was different. Lieutenant Amy Carter looked at her screens with wide eyes. "Sir, we have a contact." "But this makes no sense." She pointed to the readings. The ship appeared from nowhere. No energy trail, no heat signature, nothing. Jake moved closer to Amy's station. He had seen many ships in his career. Empire ships always left energy traces when they traveled through space. Enemy ships did too. This was different. The readings showed a ship, but it looked impossible. "Run it through the database," Jake ordered. "Check every known ship design." Amy's fingers flew across her keyboard. Minutes passed. The computer searched through thousands of ship designs. Empire ships, rebel ships, alien ships from conquered worlds. Nothing matched. "Sir, the computer says this design does not exist," Amy said quietly. "But the ship is right there. I can see it on the sensors." Jake stared at the screen. The ship looked strange. It was smooth and white, with no visible weapons or engines. Most ships were built for war. This one looked like it was built for something else. "But what? How big is it?" Jake asked. "About the size of our cruiser-class ships," Amy replied. "But sir, look at this." She pointed to another screen. "The ship is scanning us. It's using some kind of technology I have never seen before." Jake felt cold fear in his stomach. For 300 years, the Zephyrian Empire had ruled the galaxy. They had the best technology. They had the strongest weapons. No one could challenge them. But this ship was scanning them like they were nothing. "Get me Admiral Grant," Jake said. Right now, the communication screen flickered to life. Admiral Lucas Grant appeared, looking annoyed. He was eating his dinner. At his desk. "This better be important, Morrison. I'm busy." "Sir, we have detected an unknown vessel. It doesn't match any ship in our database. It's scanning our position with technology we don't recognize." Admiral Grant laughed. "Come on, Morrison. You've been out there too long. It's probably just a merchant ship with a broken transponder. Or maybe your sensors are acting up again." "Sir, I'm sending you the data now," Jake said. He pressed several buttons. "Please look at the readings." Admiral Grant's face changed as he looked at the data. His smile disappeared. "This can't be right. Run a full diagnostic on your sensors." "We already did, sir. 3 times. The sensors are working perfectly." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. "Keep watching it. Don't make any aggressive moves. I'm sending Captain Nick Taylor's ship to your position." "Sir, the ship is moving," Amy called out. "It's changing course." Jake and the Admiral both looked at the screen. The strange ship was turning away from their station. It moved slowly, like it was not afraid of them. "Where is it going?" Admiral Grant asked. "Unknown, sir. But it's moving toward the edge of our sensor range." Jake watched the ship on his screen. Something was wrong about this whole situation. The ship had appeared without warning. It had scanned them with unknown technology. Now it was leaving just as mysteriously. "Wait," Amy said suddenly. "Sir, I'm getting some kind of transmission from the ship." "What kind of transmission?" Jake asked. "It's not a message. It's like they're downloading something from our computers." Jake's blood went cold. "What are they downloading?" Amy worked frantically at her keyboard. "I can't tell. They're using some kind of access method I've never seen. They're in our navigation systems, our fleet deployment records, our communication logs. Cut all external connections," Jake shouted. "Shut down everything." I'm trying, sir. But they're not using our normal communication channels. I don't know how they're getting in. Admiral Grant's face was red with anger. Morrison, you need to stop that ship. Use whatever weapons you have. Jake looked at his weapon controls. The monitoring station only had light defensive weapons. They were not meant to fight real battles. Sir, we're not a warship. We can't stop a ship that size. Then at least try to follow it. Don't let it escape. Jake watched helplessly as the strange ship moved to the edge of their sensor range. Their own ship was too slow to follow. They were built to stay in one place and watch, not to chase unknown vessels. Sir, the ship it's gone, Amy said quietly. What do you mean gone? Admiral Grant demanded. I mean it just disappeared. 1 second it was there, the next second it wasn't. No explosion, no energy signature, nothing. It just vanished. Jake stared at the empty screen. In all his years of service, he had never seen anything like this. Ships didn't just vanish. They left trails, they made noise, they followed the laws of physics. This ship had broken all the rules. Did you get anything useful? Admiral Grant asked. Amy checked her computers. They downloaded a lot of information, sir. Fleet positions, patrol routes, communication codes. They also scanned our weapons and shield systems. How much do they know about us now? Everything. Sir, they know everything. Admiral Grant was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Morrison, this conversation never happened. You saw nothing. Your sensors malfunctioned. Do you understand? Jake wanted to argue, but he knew better. Yes, sir. Understood. Good. I'll handle this from here. Grant out. The screen went dark. Jake stood alone in his control room, staring at the place where the impossible ship had been. He had a feeling this was just the beginning. Someone was watching them. Someone with technology beyond their understanding, and they were learning everything they needed to know about the Empire. Amy looked at Jake with worried eyes. Sir, what do you think they wanted? Jake shook his head slowly. I don't know, Amy, but I have a bad feeling we're going to find out soon. Outside their window, the gas giant Kalos Prime continued its slow rotation. The stars looked the same as always. But Jake knew something had changed. The Empire was no longer alone in the galaxy, and whoever was out there was much more advanced than they were. The hunt had begun. 3 weeks passed since the incident at Kalos Prime. Jake Morrison had tried to forget what he saw, but the memory would not leave him alone. Every time he looked at his sensors, he wondered if another strange ship would appear. Admiral Grant had ordered all records of the encounter to be sealed. Only a few people knew what really happened. Jake thought it was over. He was wrong. Captain Nick Taylor sat in his command chair aboard the battleship Dominion. His ship was patrolling the Arcturus colonies, checking for rebel activity. It was supposed to be a routine mission. Nothing ever happened in this part of space. Captain, we have a sensor contact, his communications officer reported. Unknown vessel, bearing 27 Mark IV. Nick looked at his main screen. A ship appeared on the display. It looked familiar, but he could not remember where he had seen it before. What kind of ship is it? Unknown, sir. It doesn't match any design in our database. Nick felt a strange chill. Can you get a better scan? Negative, sir. The ship is too far away. But, sir, it appears to be scanning us. Battle stations. Nick ordered. Red lights flashed throughout the ship. All weapons ready. Move to intercept. The Dominion turned toward the unknown ship. Its powerful engines pushed the battleship forward. But as they got closer, something impossible happened. The ship simply vanished. Where did it go? Nick demanded. Unknown, sir. It just disappeared from our sensors. Nick stared at the empty space where the ship had been. He had served in the Imperial Navy for 15 years. He had fought rebels, pirates, and alien raiders. Ships did not just disappear like that. "Did we get any useful scans?" he asked. "Some, sir. The ship appears to be about cruiser size. No visible weapons or engines. The hull material is unknown." Nick recorded everything and sent a report to Admiral Grant. He had no idea that his encounter was part of a much larger pattern. Dr. Lisa Brooks worked late in her office at the Imperial Science Center. As head of xenology, she studied alien races and their technology. Most of her work was boring. The Empire had conquered so many species that few surprises remained, but today was different. Admiral Grant had sent her several classified reports. Each one described an encounter with an unknown ship. She spread the reports across her desk and began to look for connections. The first report came from Commander Morrison at Kalos Prime, the second from Captain Taylor at Arcturus, the third from a patrol ship near the Vega system, the fourth from a mining station in the Centauri sector. Lisa marked each location on her star map. At first, the encounters seemed random, but as she studied the map more carefully, a pattern began to emerge. The unknown ships were not appearing randomly. They were targeting specific locations. "Computer, show me all Imperial military bases in this sector," she said, the map filled with red dots. Lisa compared them to the encounter locations. Her stomach dropped. Every single encounter had happened near a major military installation. "Computer, show me all Imperial communication relays." More dots appeared on the map. Again, the pattern matched. The unknown ships were systematically surveying the Empire's most important facilities. "Computer, show me all major trade routes." The final pieces fell into place. The unknown ships had positioned themselves to observe everything. Military bases, communication networks, supply lines. They were mapping the Empire's entire infrastructure. Lisa picked up her secure communicator and called Admiral Grant. "Sir, we have a problem. A big one." "What is it, Doctor?" "The unknown ship encounters are not random. Someone is conducting a systematic reconnaissance of our entire territory. They're studying our defenses, our communications, our supply lines. Everything." Admiral Grant was quiet for a long moment. "How sure are you?" "Completely sure, sir. The pattern is too clear to be coincidence. Someone is preparing for something big." "I'll be right there," Grant said. "Don't discuss this with anyone else." An hour later, Admiral Grant arrived at Lisa's office. He studied her star map with growing concern. "How long have they been doing this?" "Based on the reports, at least a month, maybe longer. We only started noticing because they let us see them." "What do you mean?" Lisa pointed to the map. "Sir, these ships have technology we don't understand. They can appear and disappear at will. They can scan our systems without us detecting it. If they wanted to stay hidden, we would never know they were there." Grant's face went pale. "You're saying they want us to know?" "I think so, sir. They're sending us a message. They're showing us how vulnerable we are." Grant walked to the window and looked out at the capital city. Millions of people lived their lives, unaware that someone was watching them from the shadows. "Do we have any idea who they are?" "No, sir. The ship designs don't match any known species. The technology is beyond anything we've seen. They could be from outside our galaxy." "That's impossible. No one can travel between galaxies." Lisa showed him the sensor readings. "Sir, these ships don't follow our understanding of physics. They don't produce energy signatures when they move. They don't bend space-time like our ships do. They're using something completely different." Grant studied the data. As a military officer, he understood the implications. "Doctor, how advanced do you think they are?" "Very advanced, sir." Possibly centuries ahead of us. Maybe more. Could we fight them? Lisa was quiet for a long moment. Sir, they've been watching. Use for who knows how long. They know our capabilities, our weaknesses, our strategies. They can appear anywhere, anytime. They can disappear before we can respond. That's not what I asked. No, sir. I don't think we could fight them. At least not with conventional tactics. Grant sat down heavily. For 300 years, the Zephyrian Empire had been the dominant force in the galaxy. They had superior technology, superior weapons, superior numbers. No one could challenge them. Now, someone was watching them like insects under a microscope. What do you recommend? Grant asked. We need to learn more about them. Set up a dedicated task force to study these encounters. Try to predict where they'll appear next. And if they're hostile? Lisa looked at her star map. The unknown ships had appeared near every major Imperial facility. They had scanned their defenses, their communications, their supply lines. If they wanted to attack, they already knew exactly where to strike. Sir, if they're hostile, we're in serious trouble. They have all the advantages. They can strike anywhere, anytime. They know our weaknesses better than we do. Grant stood up and paced around the room. I need to brief the Emperor. He's not going to like this. What will you tell him? The truth. That we're being watched by someone with superior technology. That they're studying us like we're lab rats. That we don't know what they want or when they'll make their next move. Lisa nodded. Sir, there's something else. The encounters are becoming more frequent. At first, we saw them once every few weeks. Now it's happening every few days. What does that mean? I think they're finishing their survey. Whatever they're planning, it's almost ready. Grant stopped pacing. How much time do we have? I don't know, sir, but not much. The pattern suggests they're moving into the final phase of their operation. Grant activated his communicator. This is Admiral Grant. I need an immediate meeting with the Emperor. Code Red Priority. As Grant prepared to leave, Lisa called after him. Sir, what if they try to make contact? Grant paused at the door. What do you mean? What if they don't want to fight? What if they just want to talk? Grant looked back at the star map. The red dots showed every place the unknown ships had appeared. It looked like a web spread across the galaxy, with the Empire trapped in the center. Doctor, in my experience, people who sneak around in the shadows usually aren't looking for a friendly conversation. But if they do try to make contact, we'll be ready. After Grant left, Lisa sat alone in her office. She stared at the star map, trying to understand what was happening. Someone was out there, watching them. Someone with technology that made the mighty empire look primitive. The question was, what did they want? And more importantly, what would they do when they were ready to reveal themselves? Emperor Vexter sat on his throne, his 4 eyes glowing with anger. The massive hall was filled with his top military commanders. Admiral Grant stood before him, trying to explain how unknown ships were freely moving through Imperial space. You are telling me that someone has been watching us for months, and we cannot stop them? The Emperor's voice echoed through the chamber. Yes, Your Majesty. They have technology we do not understand. They can appear and disappear at will. Then we will set a trap, the Emperor declared. Use one of our research stations as bait. When they appear, we will capture them. General Ryan Clark stepped forward. Your Majesty, I can position a full battle fleet in the asteroid field near Research Station Omega. When the unknown ship appears, we will surround it. Do it, the Emperor commanded. I want answers, and I want them alive. Colonel Steve Parker commanded the Hidden Task Force. His ships were tucked behind large asteroids, their engines shut down to avoid detection. Research Station Omega floated. In the distance, looking like an easy target. All ships maintain radio silence, Steve whispered into his communicator. If these unknowns are as advanced as reported, they might be listening. Hours passed. Steve's crew watched their sensors carefully. The research station continued its normal operations, unaware that it was being used as bait. "Sir, contact," his sensor officer called out quietly. Unknown vessel approaching the research station. Steve looked at his screen. The ship was exactly like the reports described. Smooth, white, and impossible to understand. It moved slowly toward the station, as if it had no fear of Imperial forces. "All ships, prepare to move," Steve ordered. "Wait for my signal." The unknown ship stopped near the research station. Steve could see it scanning the facility with some kind of invisible beam. This was their chance. "All ships, attack formation. Move, move, move." 6 Imperial warships burst from their hiding places. They surrounded the unknown ship in a perfect circle. Steve felt proud. No ship could escape from this formation, but the unknown ship did not try to escape. It simply sat there, as if waiting for something. "Unknown vessel, you are surrounded." Steve broadcast. "Surrender immediately, or we will open fire." For a moment, nothing happened. Then Steve's communication officer looked confused. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the unknown ship." "What kind of transmission?" "Audio, sir." "Imperfect, Imperial." "Standard." Steve felt his blood go cold. How did they know the Imperial language? "Put it through," he ordered. A calm voice filled the bridge. It sounded human, but that was impossible. "Imperial forces, we come in peace. We wish to talk." Steve looked at his officers. They all had the same shocked expression. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself." "I am Captain Tony Miller of the Terran Federation ship Harmony. We represent the human species from the planet Earth." Steve had never heard of Earth or humans, but the name Terran Federation sounded organized, military, dangerous. "Captain Miller, you have violated Imperial space. You will surrender your vessel for inspection. Colonel Parker, we know who you are. We know about your ambush. We allowed ourselves to be surrounded because we want to talk, not fight." Steve's hands began to shake. How did they know his name? How did they know about the ambush? "We have been watching your empire for a long time," Captain Miller continued. "We know about your military, your technology, your methods of conquest. We have come to offer you a choice." "What choice?" Steve asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. "You can continue ruling through fear and violence, or you can join us in building something better." Steve looked at his weapons display. His 6 ships had enough firepower to destroy a small planet, but something told him their weapons would be useless against this strange ship. "Captain Miller, I am ordering you to surrender. If you do not comply, we will open fire." There was a long pause. Then Captain Miller spoke again. "Colonel, look at your sensor screens." Steve looked at his sensors. His heart nearly stopped. 12 more ships had appeared around his formation. They had surrounded the ambushers. "How did they get there?" Steve whispered. "We have been here the whole time," Captain Miller said. "You just could not see us." Steve realized the truth. The humans had allowed themselves to be caught. They had walked into his trap on purpose. And now he was the one who was trapped. "We do not want to fight." "You," Captain Miller continued, "but we will not allow you to continue oppressing innocent species." "We are the Zephyrian Empire," Steve shouted. "We rule this galaxy. You cannot threaten us." "We are not threatening you, Colonel. We are offering you a chance to do better." Steve opened a communication channel to Admiral Grant. "Sir, we have a problem. A very big problem." Admiral Grant's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Steve could see the Emperor's throne room. "Report, Colonel." "Sir, we are surrounded by 13 unknown vessels. They claim to be from something called the Terran Federation. They say they want to talk." The Emperor's voice boomed through the communication system. "Destroy them. Show them the power of the Empire." Steve looked at his weapons officer. The young man was staring at his screens in terror. "Sir, our weapons are not responding. They've been disabled somehow." "What do you mean disabled?" "The targeting systems are offline. The power conduits are shut down. I can't fire anything." Captain Miller's voice came through the speakers again. "Your Majesty, we can hear you. We have temporarily disabled your weapons to prevent any accidents. We do not want anyone to get hurt." The Emperor's face turned purple with rage. "How dare you? You will pay for this insult. Your Majesty, we have been watching your empire for 70 years. We have seen how you treat other species. We have seen the slavery, the genocide, the oppression. We cannot stand by and watch anymore. You have no right to judge us." The Emperor screamed. "We have every right to protect innocent lives. Your empire has killed billions of people. You have enslaved entire species. You have destroyed countless worlds." Admiral Grant stepped forward. "Who are you to lecture us? The Empire has brought order to the galaxy. Order built on fear and death is not order at all," Captain Miller replied. "It is tyranny." Steve watched the conversation with growing fear. These humans were not afraid of the Empire. They spoke to the Emperor like he was just another person. No one had ever done that before. "What do you want?" the Emperor finally asked. "We want you to change. Release the enslaved species. Stop the conquests. Govern with justice instead of fear. Never. The Empire does not negotiate with terrorists. We are not terrorists, Your Majesty. We are the voice of every species you have oppressed. We are the hope of every slave you have created. We are the future you cannot stop." The Emperor cut the communication. Steve was left alone with the humans, surrounded by their invisible ships. "Colonel Parker," Captain Miller said, "we are going to leave now. We wanted you to see what we are capable of. We wanted you to understand that your empire is not as strong as you think." "Wait," Steve said. "How are you doing this? How do you have such advanced technology?" "We have had 300 years to prepare for this moment. While your empire was conquering and destroying, we were learning and growing. We discovered that cooperation is more powerful than conquest. That's impossible. The strong always rule. The weak, that is where you are wrong, Colonel. True strength comes from unity, not domination. The species you have enslaved could have been your allies. Instead, you made them your enemies." Steve felt his weapon systems come back online. His ships were free to move again. But he knew it did not matter. The humans had disabled them once. They could do it again. "We will be watching, Colonel. Tell your Emperor that change is coming. He can be part of it, or he can be swept away by it." One by one, the human ships vanished. Steve was left staring at empty space, wondering if the encounter had really happened. "Colonel Parker to Admiral Grant," he said quietly. "Report," Grant replied. "Sir, they're gone." "All of them? Did you learn anything useful?" Steve thought about Captain Miller's words, about cooperation being stronger than conquest, about the Empire's slaves becoming their enemies. "Yes, sir. I learned that we are in serious trouble." The communication ended. Steve sat alone in his command chair, staring at the stars. For the first time in his career, he wondered if the Empire was on the wrong side of history. The Imperial Council Chamber was in chaos. Emperor Vexther had called an emergency meeting after the encounter with the humans. Military leaders argued loudly about how to respond to this new threat. "We must attack them immediately." "General Clark shouted. "Show them the power of the Empire." "With what?" Admiral Grant replied. "They disabled our weapons like they were toys. They appeared and disappeared at will. How do we fight an enemy we cannot see?" Ambassador Kate Lewis, the Empire's chief diplomat, stood up. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should consider their offer to negotiate." The Emperor's eyes blazed with anger. "The Empire does not negotiate with inferiors." "But, Your Majesty, they may." "Not be inferior. Their technology is clearly more advanced than ours." "Impossible. The Empire has ruled for 300 years. No one is more advanced than us." Dr. Lisa Brooks had been quietly studying the sensor data from Colonel Parker's encounter. She finally spoke up. "Your Majesty, I have analyzed the human ship's capabilities. They are not just more advanced than us. They are centuries ahead of us." "Explain," the Emperor commanded. "Their ships can become completely invisible to our sensors. They can disable our weapons from a distance. They can appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Most importantly, they knew everything about our ambush before it happened." "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying that if they wanted to destroy us, they would have done it already. The fact that we're still alive means they truly want to negotiate." The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke in a low, dangerous voice. "They humiliated me in front of my own forces. They made the Empire look weak. This cannot stand." "Your Majesty," Admiral Grant said carefully, "maybe we should know." The Emperor roared. "Mobilize the entire fleet. Find these humans and destroy them. Show the galaxy that no one challenges the Empire." 3 days later, the Empire's response began. Every available warship was recalled to the capital. The largest military fleet in galactic history assembled around the Imperial homeworld. Over 10,000 ships filled the space around the planet. Admiral Chris Rodriguez watched the Imperial fleet from the bridge of his ship, the Terran vessel Discovery. He had been observing the Empire's military buildup for days. The humans had expected this response. "Captain Beth Johnson to all ships." A voice came over the communication system. "Begin Operation Revelation. All units move to assigned positions." Chris smiled grimly. The humans had chosen their name well. They were about to reveal the true balance of power in the galaxy dot at exactly 1200 hours Imperial time. The demonstration began. On the Imperial homeworld, General Clark was reviewing fleet deployments when his aide rushed into his office. "Sir, you need to see this immediately." Clark looked at the communication screen. On it was a live video feed from the Imperial Naval Academy. Above the Academy, floating in the sky, was a massive human ship. "How did it get there?" Clark demanded. "Unknown, sir. It just appeared. Our orbital defense systems never detected it." Clark switched to other video feeds. His face went pale. Human ships were visible above every major military installation on the planet. The Imperial Palace, the Strategic Command Center, the Weapons Research Facility. All of them had human ships hovering overhead. "Get me Admiral Grant," Clark ordered. Grant's face appeared on screen. Behind him, Clark could see chaos in the Fleet Command Center. "General, we have a problem. Human ships have appeared in 12 different star systems. They're positioned over our most important military bases. How many ships? We don't know. They just appeared out of nowhere. Our sensors couldn't detect them until they wanted to be seen." Clark felt his stomach drop. "Are they attacking?" "No, sir. They're just sitting there, watching us." On the human ship Discovery, Chris Rodriguez was coordinating the demonstration. "Team Alpha, report status." "All ships in position over the homeworld," came the reply. "No hostile action from Imperial forces." "Team Beta, report." "All ships in position over the border systems. The local fleets are confused, but not attacking." Team Gamma report. All ships in position over the industrial worlds. The Empire's war machine is now under our observation. Chris nodded. The demonstration was working perfectly. The humans had positioned themselves to show the Empire that their most important facilities were completely vulnerable. Open a channel to the Imperial fleet, Chris ordered. On the Imperial flagship, Admiral Grant received the transmission. Admiral Grant, this is Admiral Rodriguez of the Terran Federation. Please respond. Grant looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him, waiting for orders. This is Admiral Grant. What do you want? We want to talk. But first, we want to show you something. Every screen in the Imperial Fleet Command Center suddenly displayed a star map. It showed the entire Empire, with red dots marking every military installation, every fleet position, every strategic facility. This is what we see when we look at your Empire, Rodriguez continued. Every base, every ship, every weapon. We know where everything is. We know your strengths and your weaknesses. Grant stared at the map. The humans had detailed information about installations that were supposed to be secret. How did you get this information? We have been watching you for 70 years, Admiral. We know your Empire better than you do. Emperor Vexter's voice came through the communication system. You dare threaten us in our own space? We are not threatening you, Your Majesty. We are showing you the truth. Your Empire is not as strong as you think. Your defenses are not as secure as you believe. The Emperor's face appeared on the screen. He was surrounded by his guards, but they all looked nervous. You have made a mistake, humans. You have revealed your positions. Now we can destroy you. Your Majesty, please. Look at your tactical displays. Grant looked at his screens. The human ships were gone. All of them. Every single vessel had vanished simultaneously. Where did they go? Grant demanded. We are still here, Admiral. We just turned off our visibility again. We can see you, but you cannot see us. The Emperor was shaking with rage. This is impossible. Nothing can hide from Imperial sensors. Your Majesty, your sensors are designed to detect ships that follow your understanding of physics. We do not follow your rules. Captain Beth Johnson's voice came through the speakers. Your Majesty, we are going to demonstrate something else. Please watch your screens. Every military facility in the Empire suddenly reported the same thing. Human ships were appearing directly above them, one by one. First the naval bases, then the army installations, then the weapon factories. We can appear anywhere we want, anytime we want, Captain Johnson continued. Your defenses cannot stop us. Your weapons cannot hit us. Your fleets cannot catch us. General. Clark watched in horror as human ships appeared above every facility under his command. This is impossible, he whispered. No, General. This is reality. We are not bound by your limitations. The demonstration continued for exactly 1 hour. Human ships appeared at every important Imperial facility in the galaxy. They hovered over military bases, weapon plants, communication centers, and government. Buildings. Then, as suddenly as it began, the demonstration ended. All the human ships vanished at the same time. Captain Johnson's final message echoed through every Imperial facility. Your Majesty, we have shown you what we are capable of. We can reach any target in your Empire. We can disable any defense. We can appear anywhere we choose. But we did not fire a single shot. We did not destroy a single facility. We did not harm a single person. This is not because we cannot. It is because we choose not to. We are giving you one final chance to change. Release the enslaved species. Stop the conquests. Govern with justice instead of fear. You have 1 week to decide. If you choose to continue your current path, we will be forced to take action. The choice is yours. The transmission ended. The Empire was left in stunned silence. Emperor Vexthor sat on his throne, staring at the empty screens. For the first time in his life, he felt afraid. The humans had demonstrated that they could strike anywhere, anytime. They had shown that. The Empire's mighty military was helpless against them. "What are your orders, Your Majesty?" Admiral Grant asked quietly. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke in a voice filled with rage and fear. "Find them. Find them and destroy them. I don't care what it costs. I don't care how many ships we lose. The Empire will not bow to these humans. Your Majesty, perhaps we should consider—" "No." The Emperor screamed. "I will not be humiliated by these primitives. Mobilize every ship, every weapon, every soldier. We will show them that the Empire cannot be threatened." Admiral Grant saluted reluctantly. "Yes, Your Majesty." As the Imperial forces prepared for war, the humans watched from the shadows. They had hoped the demonstration would convince the Empire to change. Instead, it had only made them more determined to fight. Captain Johnson looked at her tactical display. The Empire was mobilizing its entire military. Thousands of ships were moving toward the border systems. The humans had wanted to avoid war, but war was coming anyway. "All ships, prepare for Phase 2, she ordered. "The Empire has made its choice. Now we must make ours." The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see. What would happen next?